This is my amateur analysis of 9-year-old Ambidextrous Pitcher Caleb Rogers from Weatherford, Texas. Caleb is my son, and we practice a lot on pitching. That's what his passion is. He's always thrown with both hands since he picked up a ball. He's always batted from both sides. It's just a little unique. So he practices both ways, always has, and he loves to pitch. So I take video with my cell phone quite often, and this is from today's practice. What I did was I locked these two videos together from his release point, and I'm going to compare his mechanics, both right-handed and his left-handed mechanics, how they are with each other, if he's hitting his spots right. So, I guess first thing I'll do is let me throw a timer on here, so that way we can kind of check and see how he's hitting his positions. Alright, first thing, we hit his high balance position. From his high balance position, that's probably right there at 53 is where he's at on the left side. That's about right on the right side. 53 looks about right. So it looks like when he's starting, his body's kind of in the same rhythm regardless of which side he's pitching from. Now right there, his posture looks better on the left side. He's standing a little bit taller on his plant foot, on his back leg that's on the rubber, and his shoulders aren't scrunched as much when he's pitching left-handed here than when he's pitching right-handed. Some days it's different. You know, there's little inconsistencies. He's just a 9-year-old kid, so not always consistent with everything that he does. So anyway, right here he's breaking down, he's driving down right there. I like how he seems to be driving a little bit more with his hip on the left side than the right. Right side doesn't look bad, but his hip is driving a little more, seems to me, on the left side. Also, his foot on his left side, you see how more controlled, his foot looks more relaxed. It doesn't seem to be his toe pointing quite up in the air as it is on the right side. Real small differences. Still looks very similar both ways. Alright, so as he's breaking his hands, because he's a little more hunchbacked on his right side, his hands are coming away from his body a little bit more as he's breaking them. I'd like to see those a little bit closer, kind of like they are on the left side. But once he strides out and hits his X position, or whatever you want to call this position, once he strides out, he seems to be kind of back in with his, he seems to be kind of back in with his body in sync. So, anyway, sorry, I'm kind of hitting buttons here that I'm not intending on hitting. His body seems to be pivoting at about the same time. Right here, he seems to be stepping a little more towards first base as a lefty. As a righty, he seems to be coming more direct toward the plate. That's what I'd like to see him do lefty, or would have liked to see him do today. Some days he does it. Just once again, inconsistencies. I like how he's standing a little bit taller right here on the right side, working down the mound a little more. He seems on the left side to have already kind of dropped on his back leg, a little more of a drop and drive type delivery, whereas right-handed he seems to be working a little better downhill. Small differences, but things we could work on. Alright, once again, now he's pivoting. He seems to have gotten his front side up good on both sides. I like that. That's real good. Ball is down and away from him on both sides. As he pivots, it starts to turn. Now, he's coming forward, and boom, right there, arm slot, both arms. Okay, that's his release point, both sides. I like how on the right side, Seems a little more balanced. His head doesn't seem to be pulling off towards first base as much as it is when he's throwing lefty. It's pulling off toward third base. Small difference, but nonetheless, that may be something we could work on to get more of the same. Now I want to check these angles of his arm slot. I'm going to start out here on the right side and go up with angle. This is hard to do on a cell phone because it's just so small. That looks okay. Now out here to the ball, roughly 133 degrees. Okay, let's try left hand. I'm going to start on his plant foot, go up. Let me undo that, it's not real straight. Up. There we go, that looks a little better. Now off to the ball. 143, roughly the same angle. You know, it's not an exact science on the cell phone. I'm not sure that I'm getting it as accurate, but roughly the same. Arm slot looks pretty good. Got the elbow above the shoulder. I really like that. That's the part I'm most excited about that. Good. So then his delivery here, peel that off. Go back to the timer. As he's letting go of the ball, boom. Looks to me like he's got more fingers on top of the ball, left hand right here. Right hand, it seems like his wrist is back just a little bit when he lets go of the ball. I'd like to see him get that wrist more forward and fingers on top of the ball, right-handed than versus left-handed. But very small difference. His follow-through, I like how right here on right-handed, he's headed a little more toward the plate. Left-handed, he's pulling off a little bit more towards third base. He's accurate, throwing good. The rotation of the ball is a little better left-handed than it is right-handed. But he's finishing down, chest down both sides. I like that. There he's got good extension with both arms. This extension looks a little more textbook to me on the right side than the left side. But he got both arms extended really well. And then he seems to have pretty good balance right there in that position. And chest is down. I like it. Comes around. Finishes up more toward the plate as a righty. As a lefty, he's falling off the mound a little more toward third base. Maybe we can work on that. So there's things about this analysis that look better right-handed, and then there's other things that look better left-handed to me. So there he is, Caleb Rogers, 9 years old, ambidextrous pitcher, loves to pitch, working on his mechanics from our session today.